No, he on IG. I've never professed. I've never professed that I was as great as Shaq. But what I will say,
yes, sir,
I got what I got because I worked my ass off. Now,
yes,
Shaq has been the one that said that he didn't work as hard, he didn't train as hard, he didn't eat as well as he should have.
Right.
Shaq is the one that anytime someone wins an MVP, he talks about how he should have been the MVP over Steve Nash.
Shannon Sharpe ain't biting his tongue no more. He's coming for Shaquille O'Neal's neck loud and clear. And trust me, this ain't just hoop talk. This is raw, personal, and straight up scandalous. Word floating through the grapevine, Shaq might have blindsided Shannon with a wild $50 million lawsuit right when Shannon was about to bag a life-changing $100 million deal with DSPN. Suspicious? Man, that timing smells rotten. Folks whispering this lawsuit didn't just pop up. Nah, it dropped right as Shannon was leveling up and boom.
Love you.
All right, I'm also paying information. You know where Kenny the Jet Smith at?
Yes, I got Kenny too. I know exactly where he's at.
Okay, now this one right here gets you going to I'm gonna give you some motherfucking big dollars. Do you know where Ernie Johnson is at?
Ooh, let me work on that one right quick. That's a tough one.
Alright, and remember, I'm paying top dollar for all that information. Love you, boy. Hey, don't tell nobody.
Alright, one.
Alright, go.
Suddenly he steps back from the deal? That ain't no accident, that's strategy. It's starting to look like Shaq been plotting a slow burn revenge play, lurking in the shadows and waiting to strike. Their beef been simmering for years, but now it feels like Shaq's pulling strings from the back office instead of the basketball court. And here's where it gets nastier. Word is there's a leaked audio making the rounds, and in it, Shaq is allegedly caught asking people for dirt on Shannon, straight digging in the crates, trying to drag out skeletons Shannon thought were buried for good. And the whispers?
Alright, and remember, I'm paying top dollar for all that information. Love you, boy. Hey, don't tell nobody.
Alright, one.
Alright, go.
They say he might have actually found something ugly enough to flip Shannon's whole world upside down. But buckle up, cause it don't stop there. This lawsuit, it circles back to a woman named Gabriella Zika, but insiders claim she ain't even the first. Supposedly, there was another setup before her, and when you trace it back, guess whose fingerprints pop up? Shaq's. This whole thing looking less like a coincidence and more like a carefully laid trap that Shannon walked right into. And now receipts are surfacing left and right, and they ain't painting a pretty picture. Now here's where it really blows up. Matt Barnes steps into the story. Early 2022, he's just chilling, minding his lane, keeping his name in the sports world. Then out of nowhere, an audio clip drops like a bomb. And whose voice is it? Allegedly Matt Barnes, talking about how Shaq was willing to throw down serious stacks just to dig dirt on Shannon Sharpe. And let's be real, this wasn't no pocket change kind of money. We're talking heavy cash, off the books type spending. The kind of paper that makes people talk in whispers. The source of that clip? Still murky. Some swear it was a leaked private convo. Others think it came from a podcast slip-up or maybe even a hot mic moment. But one thing is clear. That voice sounded exactly like Matt Barnes, and what he said? It hit like a sucker punch. Matt didn't make it sound like Shaq had a petty little MVP beef. Nah. He made it sound like Shaq was ready to get grimy, to drag Shannon through the mud no matter what. And if you check the timeline, it all connects. Remember when that MVP drama with Nikola Jokic went nuclear? Shannon hinted Shaq's reaction felt a little jealous. And Shaq? Oh, he ain't let that slide.
You well enough.
You in a Shaq situation, right?
But instead of firing shots on social media like the rest, Shaq went straight billionaire mode, cold, strategic, and silent. Here's where it turns real shady. After that MVP dust-up, everything between Shaq and Shannon went dead quiet. No more subs online, no slick talk in interviews, nothing. Fans thought the beef cooled off, but nah, behind the curtain, Shaq was allegedly plotting. Word is he started stacking files, digging up dirt, and waiting for the perfect moment to hit Shannon where it hurts. And look at the timing. Shannon's star was shooting through the roof. Brand new podcast contracts, primetime TV spots, and that monster 100 million DSPN deal right on the table. So of course Shaq would move in the shadows, no noise, just quiet pressure, waiting for the right domino to fall. But here's where it flips messy. Still think Shaq had no hand in this?
He came out with a diss track, and I heard your response to it, but his was more, there's another situation. The passion of whatever, and I believe you caught it straight, because I don't think you was, in essence, talking about it more so than Gilbert. You did, and then it spun to that. Have you guys talked?
We haven't. Shaq feels the way he feels, and he's perfectly fine to feel that way. I said what I said. I still think Shaq is a phenomenal basketball player, even though, he minimized my career. I'm fine.
Then explain this viral TMZ bomb. Not just some random footage. This one shows Shannon Sharpe looking extra cozy with a fan at an event. Now, everybody knows Shannon's a natural charmer. Smooth talker, magnetic energy, always laughing, always showing love, especially to women. Folks already noticed he gravitates toward white ladies. So that part ain't news. But this clip, too polished, too perfectly timed, like somebody staged it. Shannon's leaning in close, grinning, real relaxed. And then boom, the internet eats it up. Whispers start flying, questions start swirling, and just like that, Shannon's name is caught up in drama. And here's the kicker. That very same woman in the TMZ clip, suddenly, her name starts floating around the $50 million lawsuit in the background. Now tell me that don't scream setup. TMZ don't magically pop up with cameras in hand. Somebody makes that call. Somebody positions that shot. Somebody wants that footage out. And if this was bait, Shannon, just being himself, stepped right into the trap. That little innocent moment on video might have been all Shaq needed to stir the pot heavy behind closed doors. Now let's break it down. The woman at the heart of this firestorm is Gabriella Zika. She's the one suing Shannon Sharpe for a jaw-dropping $50 million. And who's leading her charge? None other than Tony freaking Busby, the same pitbull lawyer who went after Deshaun Watson in that massive case and who even squared up with Jay-Z before. When Busby shows up, it ain't for clout. It's to crush reputations. So what's Gabriella actually claiming? That Shannon forced himself on her, physically hurt her, and manipulated her mentally and emotionally. She's saying the trauma, stress, and damage she's carrying are severe.
Now what you think about that?
I'm looking for a sinner. I'm looking for a sinner. Send me Miss Nasty B. What her name was? The one that you
Miss Nasty B?
brother?
Miss Nasty?
Yeah, I'm looking for. I don't want nobody walking straight and narrow.
Oh, come on.
Nah.
So,
I want to sinner.
Listen, I thought we as
These are not light accusations. This is heavy, serious stuff. But then it explodes even further. Word is, Busby's got audio recordings he swears back her story. And once that leaked, the internet went into full meltdown. Shannon? He didn't hide. He clapped back instantly, demanding the whole 10-minute recording get played. Not just clipped up bits. That move screams confidence, like he knows the full tape flips the story on its head. He says Gabriella was fully willing, and the media's just chopping it up to frame him dirty. Now here's where it all slides into real dark territory. Because once folks started digging, some wild receipts popped up. We're talking leaked texts, screenshots, allegedly showing Shannon and Gabriella trading some straight-up twisted roleplay fantasies. And not just freaky talk, these texts hint at extreme scenarios, including something people online call race play. And listen, if you don't know what that is, you might not want to Google it. It's ugly, it's heavy, and it ain't nothing to joke about. But let's be real. This didn't exactly come out of nowhere. Shannon Sharpe been flashing his freak flag for years. Dude never hid the fact that he's into wild stuff. Roll it back to 2023 when he was chopping it up on that Nightcap podcast with Chad Ochocinco. The convo switched to actress Yvonne Orji. You know, the queen from Insecure and the host of Netflix's Balloon Challenge. Now, Yvonne's always been open about saving herself for marriage. She's proud of it. Chad threw her name in the mix, joking she might be a good match for Shannon. And what did Shannon say? He laughed and fired back with, "Yeah, nah, I'm looking for a sinner." Then without even pausing, he dropped the name of adult film star Ms. B. Nasty. That man said it loud and clear. He don't want no squeaky clean church girl. He wants wild, nasty, spicy. No shame, no filter, he put it on the record. And honestly, nobody can clown his preferences. But facts are facts. Shannon has been wide open about his lifestyle. From flirty comments to on-air jokes to flat-out thirsting, he never played it safe. So now that Gabriella's lawsuit is blasting all these heavy accusations, can we really say this storm came out of nowhere?
Oh my God. You was a Diddy party?
No,
Never?
I ain't never been invited. I ain't that big. I mean, maybe if I was in the position that I'm in now, but back then, no. I don't get invited to no parties, bro. Plus, I'm a homebody.
Do you like partying or no? Nah, yeah. I feel
I just like to be to myself, man.
I feel that.
You know.
I feel that.
He told us straight up in HD who he was, and people just laughed it off. But here's the real twist. Gabriella might not even be the first woman in this so-called Get Shannon saga. Word is, another name been floating around, and Shaq's fingerprints might be hovering over that one too. Let's bring up Michelle Evans. Most folks barely remember her, but back in 2023, she actually filed her own lawsuit against Shannon in New York. That's almost 2 years before Gabriella ever showed up. Technically, Michelle was first. And her story? It was dark, disturbing, and got buried fast. According to legal docs pulled by People magazine, Michelle didn't even roll with some powerhouse lawyer. She repped herself, raw and solo, and still laid her story on the table. She claimed she was in a long-term relationship with Shannon for nearly 10 years, ending around 2010. And why it ended? Reports say he cheated. That's when she came forward with accusations that had folks shaking their heads. And here's the craziest part. Barely anybody talked about it back then. It slid under the radar like it never happened. But now, with Gabriella's case front and center, eyes are circling back to Michelle, and people are saying the patterns feel way too similar. Michelle Evans did not sugarcoat a thing. She dropped claims that were brutal, shocking, and unforgettable. She said after their first big fight, Shannon demanded intimacy. And when she refused, what she described next sounded like pure nightmare fuel. And it didn't stop there. Michelle dropped a bombshell when she claimed Shannon threw her on the bed, forced himself, and then allegedly told her, "I'm gonna make it so no other man will want you." That one line alone shook the internet to its core. Now, to keep it straight, Michelle's not suing Shannon for assault in the strict legal sense, but she is saying he threatened her, sabotaged her career, and left her with deep emotional scars. And once she went public, the backlash was ruthless. People online dragged her name through the dirt, called her a liar, and basically tried to erase her existence. Yes, Shannon's denied it all, just like he's denied every other allegation so far. But let's be real. One accusation, maybe you brush it off. 2, you start side-eyeing. 3 women, different times, same kind of claims. At some point, it starts to look less like random noise and more like a pattern playing out in front of everybody's eyes. And here's where things get even darker. Because suddenly the spotlight shifts to something folks been whispering about ever since Gabriella's case hit. Those infamous Diddy parties. Now, Shannon has publicly said he's never stepped into Diddy's wild world. He don't mess with that so-called freaky culty Hollywood energy. But when you line up the lawsuits, the leaked texts, and the aggressive, controlling behavior being described, the vibes are way too close to what's coming out in those Diddy investigations. We're talking power trips, emotional manipulation, threats, coercion, and silence. And it ain't just fans putting 2 and 2 together. Insiders are connecting dots too. Remember when Jay-Z and Diddy's private convos got mentioned on stage not long ago? Guess who else was sitting there? Shaquille O'Neal. And what did he do? Man got real quiet, then stood up and walked straight off the stage. No comment, no goodbye, just ghosted the scene like he didn't want to be caught in the smoke. That moment had everybody asking the same question. Does Shaq know more than he's letting on? He never pointed the finger directly at Shannon, but the vibe he gave off? It screamed, I know folks who live that life but hide behind a fake clean image. And don't forget, Shannon spent years branding himself as Unk She Sha, the wise family man, spitting Bible verses, handing out motivational speeches. But these lawsuits, they're shredding that polished mask. And what's showing underneath looks way different. Just check Shaq's recent IG activity. Man's not sweating at all. He even joked about that leaked Matt Barnes audio, posting a meme like, dang, got caught again. I need that info. I'm paying $2. Wild. Meanwhile, Shannon's life, it's unraveling. Fast. His rep's taking a hit. His podcast Without Joe is struggling. His TV presence looking shaky. And those brand deals, they're starting to fade away. Everything he spent decades building is suddenly on life support. And here's the craziest part. The more Shannon tries to defend himself, the worse things seem to get. Every time he claps back, another leak drops. More texts, more recordings, more drama. It's like the mess multiplies every time he speaks up. All while Shaq's kicking back, unbothered, living life like none of this touches him. Dropping petty captions, laughing it up online, and not a care in the world. But now I gotta leave you with some real questions. Is Shannon Sharpe really getting done dirty right now? Or is Shaq quietly throwing him under the bus while acting innocent? And most important, can Shannon even bounce back from all this? Or is this the end of everything he built? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like, tap that subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next wild update, because this saga, it's far from over. See you on the next one.